Another lawsuit. Yeah, it sounds unreal, isn't it? Somebody even said on the previous episode, it sounds like it is lawsuit season. Yeah. And so this one comes from the ZCC church. Yes, boink. So this one fascinates me because this one, I gave it a lot of patience. This lawsuit has been happening over a couple of weeks. I gave it patience, and I wanted all of us here to remember the importance of these voices, the importance of these platforms like YouTube and whatnot and stuff like this. Guys, I bet you've not even seen SABC, you've never seen Daily Sun, you've never seen viral TikTok thingy, you've never seen nothing. You've not seen even a single article, you've not seen nothing concerning this one. Why? Why is it that nobody is talking about what would be a very big lawsuit? Because it speaks concerning a church with over 12 million members in South Africa. Okay, almost how many is it? It's 5% of the population in South Africa, and so it's quite a telling thing, the importance of this particular voice. I gave this story a lot of time. Nothing ever came off. Will they ever report it? No. Now do you understand the importance of these platforms? Now do you understand? Because there are stories if we don't cover them, people would never know about them. Even though I look like, oh my goodness, he's an opposition. Sometimes I am the only way that your story is getting out there. Aslimo has covered this particular story. Aslimo Malatli, if you haven't seen her, don't worry, she'll be in the comment section. Okay? It's a very bright yellow profile picture. You will see her there. And so she's covered every single time there was any interaction pertaining to this particular thing. And so let me give a little bit of background. The ZCC church started the main entire thing with the main vision. It started around the 1900s, the early 1900s. The leader came from other churches. He had gone to other churches and found himself not liking what they were doing over there. He wanted to incorporate some aspects of African traditions and so forth. And then after he died, there was a split, and the two branches split into two. And then you had ZCC Liba with the dove and ZCC Star with the five corner star that you see, pentagram, what it looks like. But then very recently, over the last couple of, I think, a year or so, there was another organization that was registered very recently by a man who on Facebook calls himself Barnabas Sheikho Lekhanyan. That's what he calls himself. And so Sheikho, there were other people that had their own stories around him. I'm not even talking about that. So Sheikho started his own version. So I was wondering, is Lekhanyan also his real name? Is he descendant? I was very interested in hearing this particular story, but hey, I knew there's likelihoods that we are not going to hear that part. Maybe one day he will do a podcast or he will come here. We'll explain. Okay, but I bet you if he did that, we will get papers as well. Sheikho then started campaigning around creating a new version of ZCC. As a matter of fact, when they registered, they called themselves the Zion Creationist Church. Now, they are a little bit weird with their doctrines because sometimes they like to claim, they sometimes expose the dark things that they don't like the black cloth around the ZCC badge. He didn't like that at all. He said that clearly represents darkness. Where do we get that from the original ZCC church? And so it could be up for argument to say, is this the original doctrine or is it something else? Personally, I've said clearly, ZCC has two doctrines. It has a secret doctrine for the elites, and it has an open doctrine for the goems, which is what you would call them in Freemasonry. In Freemasonry, they call them goems because these are the average people that do not exactly know what they believe. They are taught something, They carry that, and that becomes their life. So Shehu came out criticizing certain aspects of the teaching, and he criticized certain leadership people and so forth. Now, as time went on, they started to have their own uniform. I remember some time ago, a few months back, they started showing this different type of uniform, and he was building an audience for thingy. So all of a sudden, Shehu then had one of his first interactions with the ZCC Church lawyers. So that particular footage was recorded by Shehu's people. They recorded that footage so that they can have their own version of what was happening. Now, these people who came over there, very learned, speaking English, they're like, okay, we're serving papers, So the lawsuit was served. And then some time went by, they did the entire thing with the lawsuit. I don't think they were very successful on that. And very recently, there was another interaction with the law. Now, in this particular case, I was not exactly sure what was happening. The previous times when the ZCC people came, the original ZCC people came, they had their cars, whatnot, you could see it in there. This time when they came up, it was very clear that they came with police. So it was a completely different one. He posted about it on his social media. So this does not dismiss the first interaction. I think the first interaction, they were not successful. I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, if we don't report about these things, nobody else will. So you will just not hear about it. This kind of stuff is just all the way very questionable to say, why is it that we never saw anything? You see all the other stories. Here is another version of ZCC that is now brought up, what you would say is a third branch. And they claim to hold to the original doctrine of the ZCC Church. And when they came out, you saw a couple of people talk about it, but not acknowledged in the media space. And I find it quite interesting that now they have lawsuits concerning him and him being able to have his own branch of church and whatnot. I think the last time I heard about it, it was concerning using their branding and stuff like that. I think there was letters and stuff like that. I think I once made an episode concerning that. And so that happened. And now there was this interaction where the police were involved, and they go into his branches. They go to his branches and so forth. And he seems to be building an audience from the last time when we spoke and stuff like that. So there are people that are resonating with the message that he's thinking. Now, my position on this particular subject was, we only have one church, which is the Church of Jesus Christ. All of us are just local communities and local branches that represent that church. And we find the churches that we know follow in line with the gospel as it is written. But it's quite an interesting one. The thing that can't get out of my head is, how has this not landed in any platform? I haven't heard about this anywhere. The only place I've heard about this is Auslimo. Auslimo covered it, and that was pretty much it. There are people that don't even know about it. There are people that have never even heard about it. That tells you some people they run on with certain agendas and stuff like that. And it tells you the importance of platforms like this, because then we cover all these stories just as equally as we would cover any other story. We're not peddling bias towards one particular side over the other and so forth. We're not interested in that. We're just covering the stories as we see them. But it's a very interesting time in which we are living, where you get to see these stories unfold right before our eyes. But it's a reality show with daily Christian commentary videos. Other episodes down to the bit down in the pinned comments, and I'm gonna check you out over there.